What is going on YouTube? That thumbnail is not clickbait. I'm going to show you a pattern, a trade that is setting up that can make you life-changing money. You will only get it on this channel. This is reminiscent of that 48.2 trade I shared on YouTube for Bitcoin, where it then dropped subsequently 64%. You guys will want to watch this video front to back and watch how this plays out. The market moves in patterns, and these patterns repeat themselves. Guys, this video is going to be brought to you by our two fantastic sponsors, SimpleFX and BingX. People keep asking me in the comments, what's the difference? SimpleFX is a decentralized exchange. You need a VPN and an email. That's it. You can trade everything on SimpleFX in USDC, which you cannot do on most crypto exchanges. They're very limited. SimpleFX has equities, commodities, Bitcoin, and a handful of altcoins. It is a fantastic exchange, and you get up to a 5K bonus instantly, guys. Instantly. No games, no volume requirements, instantly available to trade with in your margin. We brought in BingX because you don't need a VPN. All you need is an email. BingX has a full listing of all the altcoins and access as well to the other markets, equities, commodities, Forex. So both of our exchange options give you access to all of the markets, guys. One needs a VPN and can use everything in USDC, which is SimpleFX, and the other one is a traditional crypto market with access to all of the multiple listings of altcoins as well. So you guys decide which you like better, but the important thing is they both will pay for your entrance into market makers. So download either one. You get a free month in market makers. The instructions are in the video description, and I'll pin them in the YouTube comments. Message Lee in the Telegram. Guys, come join us in the room for trade signals, TA, education, and community. Let's jump into this. Let's look at this, guys. So on my left, in this corner, we have the reigning champion, the .com boom bust. I went over my boom bust bubble. You can see phase 1 denial, minus 30%. Phase 2 FOMO. You got to get this bottom. It's the bottom, minus 40%. Phase 3 disgust, when nobody wants anything to do with the asset. And in this corner on the right side of my screen is the challenger, who wants to defeat the biggest bubble that we have had in equities in the last, well, since basically since the 1929 bust. And this is where we're at, guys. I want you guys to see this because this is an amazing pattern that's forming here. We have the fall equinox in September 2001, as you can see, gave us this strong rally up. We have the fall equinox here in September 2022, gave us this strong rally up. And wait until you see the market symmetry here. Let's first look at the rally, your first big rally in .com to try to defeat the trend line. The blue trend line from the all-time high failed at the trend line, 21.25%. Your first big rally in the modern market to try to defeat the trend line, 19%. Very close, but it gets better. Look at this. When you look at the bar counts, let's get a date range here on your first rally. 9 bars, 63 days. Your first big rally in the modern market, 9 bars, 63 days. Your fall equinox gave you the bottom, you pivoted out, you broke your trend line, you came back here in .com to backtest your trend line. It's exactly where we are now. Fall equinox, here's your bottom, pivot out on the right side of my screen here, guys. Come back down, break your trend line, and now we're looking for that back test of the trend line. And then we have the spring equinox just ahead of us, which provided our top in .com. But look at the bar count, guys. You cannot make this up. The bar count from the low in the fall equinox all the way up here to your high before you pivot it down to backtest your trend line. 16 bars, 112 days. The bar count from the low, right? From the low all the way up to your high. Now you've pivoted down to come back and backtest your trend line. 16 bars, 112 days. Do you guys see the sequencing? This is .com 20 years ago. Same trend line from the all-time high. First rally, 9 bars, 63 days. Second rally, 16 bars, 112 days. First rally in the modern market, 9 bars, 63 days. Second rally, 16 bars, 112 days. coming down to back test your trend line. When did this rally fail in .com? Spring equinox, okay? The spring equinox was your actual high here on your second top, and then you fell down into the next phase, right through FOMO into disgust, okay? You spent very little time here in a weekly time frame in FOMO into disgust. This is what we're looking at over here on the right side of the screen. We're going to look at this in the smaller time frames, back testing the trend line, and then that bounce up. That's where we're setting up the trade. That bounce up has targets, the higher target being 4,300, but you could also just come up to a co-equal high like you did over here in .com, or you could just fail below the trend line. So lots of different options here, but guys, one thing for sure, this will be a very large pull down. I'm talking about potentially 1,000 handles on the S&P. So let's go ahead and look at this. This pattern is absolutely incredible. On the daily time frame, as you guys know, I sequenced out 43-day pivots. You can see how accurate these are. We, of course, hit our pivot and the S&P fell. Here's your 200 magically lined up with your trend line from the all-time high. Current recording here, Thursday morning. This is at 39.85. Or is this Wednesday? I think it's Wednesday, right? Let me look. It's Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday morning, 39.85. So you can see prices coming down to back test this trend line, okay? And then we have our pivot based on these 43-day sequencing. That's April 14th. So one way this can play out, guys, one way this can play out on the S&P is you come down, back test your trend line. If it plays out like .com, you're basically coming right back up to where we shorted above 41.80. Okay, so up thrust and Wyckoff and then rolling back down, and then that is your breakdown. And as this breaks down and comes down to the target here at the 1 fib, the April 14th date could be your reversal pivot back up to a lower high or a major rally. Okay, this is 33.38 on the trend-based fib. Now the larger trend-based fib, I have 31.80, as you guys know, a larger wave projection. So this is really close, 150 points. So I threw on the 1272 so you could see this. My two targets for when this pivots, okay, March 20th. Let's go ahead and throw that March 20th pivot on here. That is the, it doesn't have to be on that day, obviously, but it is a pivot point in the marketplace, okay? So here's your pivot point in the marketplace with the spring equinox, March 20th, and then we're looking for the next pivot. If this 43-day pattern continues to play out, that next pivot would be April 14th. So we want to see if this plays out this way, looking for a massive trade setup. And guys, you got to understand what type of declination we're talking about here in price, because I'm going to show you how this is going to affect Bitcoin. If we just come up to a co-equal high of where we got to, a co-equal high coming down to our 33.58 target is a 20% move in the S&P. A 20% move. Understand that since the great financial crisis, the S&P averaged a 10% return. You are getting a 2-year return in a single trade, and that's before you apply leverage to this. Do you understand where I'm going with this? Life-changing money, okay? That's at the 33.58 target. If we come down deeper to that 31.80 target that I have, 3100, let's just call it. This is 31.30 on the fib. That is a 25% move, guys. Massive, massive move. And we're in a process of setting this trade up. You're completing the exact same price movements with the exact same bar count since as you did in .com. And right now you're just waiting for this retest of the trend line, the bounce back up to see where it gets to, and we will be setting up this trade, okay? Absolutely incredible. If we want to see the fib that you're going to hit here, we can just do a simple fib retracement. And look where your 618 is, 39.49. Look where your 200 is, just beneath it. The trend line just beneath that. You're trading at 39.85. You're basically looking for a $40, $50 drop in the S&P, and then hold the trend line and then bounce back up for a lower high, co-equal high, or if we get a lot of euphoria, that big push up to 4,300. That doesn't seem as likely now, by the way. The market conditions, you can feel it when you watch the markets every day. You might be able to get back to your co-equal high. I don't see that 4,300 as likely as a possibility now, even though I've been showing you that. Always got to look at your potential for your upside targets. Based on .com, we should just be coming back up for a co-equal high, making a massive double top here on the daily 3-day time frame as well. How does this affect brother Bitcoin? Well, let's look at this, guys. So we know that we have Wyckoff going on here. Obviously, we've showed this many times now. You have your base and you have your top, okay? You can see your up thrust, very similar to the S&P, is it not? Your up thrust in the range. But what would your downside target be? If you look at this from a trend-based fib, from that swing high August 14th, come down to that impulsive low November 9th, and then come up to your high here, okay? Your high got you to right here, and look at your one fib. Remember the symmetrical move? That's 15,539. Now, I don't think Bitcoin, if the S&P drops 20%, this is trillions of dollars, guys, trillions. I don't think Bitcoin's just going to go to 15,539 and retest its lows, as you guys know. I think you're going to the 1272 high 12s. That's 12,888. And I like that. I like that numerology there as well. 12,888. So that triangle pattern for this descent, because this looks like it's going to play out with our equinox pivots that we've been talking about. Again, this is a 100% move, reciprocal move of 100%. And as you guys know, if we do come down, you're going down further to that 1272, high 12s, low 13s. That's my prediction. This would be basically the 1272 here. And that is 12,888, guys. And this, again, Bitcoin could hold in this range where it is now while the S&P comes down $50 and bounces back up. And if Bitcoin wants to look at those higher targets, guys, we have those higher targets that we've been showing you from the larger trend-based fib projection. In other words, if the S&P rallies back up and does want to push up above where it already is, well, then you could see Bitcoin try to come up. Here's your 25,180 right here where I told you I was shorting, okay? Here's your 25,180. You could see Bitcoin try to come up. Let me get some fib levels on here. And we had that 1618. Where did you go? 1618, 27,821. Okay, that's the target I would be looking at if the S&P defeats its high that it made on its first double top. Look for Bitcoin or possibly a short clearing move before Bitcoin dumps. Okay, this is only a couple thousand points to get up here, but that's the upside target. If the S&P just bounces down off of this trend line, guys, bounces down off the trend line, bounces back up, makes a lower high or a co-equal high, Bitcoin could very well stay in this range where it is now. Between this, what is it trading at now? Like roughly high 23s and in the low 25s. It could stay in that range, and as the S&P rolls over, then Bitcoin's going to roll over. But the key thing is we know the market movements to look for. Looking at Bitcoin on the daily, here's our Wyckoff we broke out of with that 3 sigma candle. If you throw a mini cough structure here, guys, you can see what Bitcoin was doing. There's your 1272 at 25,180, and you can see Bitcoin got on top of the structure, and now it's falling below the structure, okay? And again, I anticipate Bitcoin printing a bearish pattern when the S&P does make its movements that it's going to make. And as you can see, what does it look like it's doing here on the daily? Well, if it continues this move that it's doing right now, it's going to come up for a double top. Might have some candle stack here, come back up for a double top, maybe a lower high, just like that. Guys, we're going to have a huge tradable move in the marketplace led by the market leader, the S&P, following the exact pattern from .com. It's absolutely insane. So let's look at this on the Russell. Russell at 1889 on the 3-day, using the trend-based fib for a downward projection again. Again, the Russell, the market symmetry is 1620, but just like Bitcoin, guys, I don't think that's where it will go. The Russell moves with a high beta, just like Bitcoin, and I think the Russell is going to do a move just like Bitcoin and come down to the 1272, which is at 1514. This is a move I'd be looking for at the Russell. This is with the S&P pulling down to that low 3400 to the high 3100, 3200 range, okay? The $150, $200 range in there. This is where I think you're going to see this drop. I don't think it's going to stop to retest the lows. It will bounce for certain. You will have retracements at key levels, but I don't think the price will stop here if the S&P does that type of drop that we're showing. So looking at the Russell on the daily, again, our short playing out beautifully. Guys, you get all these trade setups plus the other traders in our Discord, so take advantage of the free offer and make some money. And we have our trade playing out beautifully. Beautiful double top. Didn't get a lot of dissension yet from the double top, but that's okay because we shorted it up here. We'll see if this wants to break down further. All of these these indices you would think would want to come back and retest their 200, right? This for the Russell is further down. So the Russell's holding up well because the S&P is only $50 away from retesting its 200. The Russell is further away. It would need to descend all the way down to roughly 1826. So another $60. Well, I guess it's about the same in comparison. But that's where the Russell would need to get to retest that. It doesn't have to because remember the S&P will drive the market. Looking at the NASDAQ, same thing, guys. Focus on the daily 200 time frame right beneath the 1 fib, 11,948. NASDAQ trying to hold up after this beautiful double top. We talked about shorting up here in this quadrant. Multiple entry points here to do so. Great drawdown on the NASDAQ as well. All right, guys. So to recap, the pattern at play is going to be the .com pattern. It's playing out the exact same way, okay? The exact same way. This is something you have to watch. You will get the updates on this channel. I'm super excited about this, as you guys can tell, because these big trades are what can make a difference in accomplishing your personal financial goals. All right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this video. Do like and subscribe. Leave your YouTube comments. I will answer them as always. Talk to you guys soon.